I can't believe I've come this far on my channel and I have yet to utter a single word about Wes Anderson. I failed as a human being. Fantastic Mr. Fox is written and directed by Wes Anderson, and it stars the voice of George Clooney, and also many other notable names that we've come to realize and be familiar with from previous Wes Anderson films, such as Bill Murray, Willem Dafoe, and Owen Wilson. Wow. The reason why I'm doing this review should be fairly obvious, but I really just wanted to do it to get myself and others really hyped up for Wes Anderson's newest stop-motion animation installment that's coming out this weekend called The Isle of Dogs. And ironically, Fantastic Mr. Fox is one of the few Wes Anderson films that I have yet to see until the other day, so it kind of works perfectly that way. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I have yet to mention Wes Anderson's name throughout my entire channel's existence, which is a film atrocity.
I think you're a phony.
But I'll have you know that Wes Anderson is certainly on my list of favorite film directors, and if we're talking about favorite contemporary film directors, like Paul Thomas Anderson, he's certainly in my top 5. I'm not 100% on that, but he's arguably in my top 5. Fantastic Mr. Fox gives you everything that you would expect from a Wes Anderson film. Of course, the only noticeable difference is that it's a stop-motion animation, but you still get Wes Anderson's beautifully constructive world that filmgoers like myself have really come to love. Everything from its overly symmetrical cinematography, its interestingly coordinated tracking shots, the score and music that's placed and crafted in a specific way, its quick and fun editing style, its clever witty humor. It's really all of these aspects of filmmaking that Wes Anderson utilizes that always seems to yield a very immersive, impactful movie-going experience. Wes Anderson's approach to filmmaking has become so iconic and noticeable that at this point, if any filmmaker or film tries to resemble its style, you have the right to call it Wes Anderson-esque. So yes, this film is animated, which is different from Wes Anderson's previous films. But if you're wondering if whether or not that really made a difference, I would say not really. I mean, at least not in a negative way. The only real thing that I took away from this being an animation is that I actually kind of realized that Wes Anderson's style might actually be a bit more fitting in an animation. I was just able to realize how incredibly fitting Wes Anderson's style is for animation. I'm not trying to say that his previous live action films are lesser in value. I absolutely adore all those films. But there's just a very animated quality to Wes Anderson's approach. The worlds that he creates are constructed in this very quick, fun, and charming way. And plus, all of his films are very character-driven and character-based. All of the characters in Wes Anderson films are very, for the lack of a better word, animated. Just by that, I just mean all of his characters always have this highly accentuated personality and characteristics that really make them extremely memorable. And despite this film being a PG-rated stop-motion animation, it still contains plenty of that dark humor that we'd expect from Wes Anderson films. Of course, it's not as brutally dark as his previous films.
What's your dog's name?
Cody. Be still, Cody.
But I was still surprised that he was able to incorporate some of that dark humor in a PG movie. And since we're on the topic of comedy regarding this movie was funny as shit. I found myself consistently laughing throughout this entire film. Pretty hard too, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm always finding myself gut-bustingly laughing when I'm watching Wes Anderson films because it's just written in this incredibly subtle and clever way, but it's just so damn funny. And in my honest opinion, Wes Anderson's comedy kind of separates the men from the boys, in my opinion. Like, if you watch his films and you don't find them funny and you don't laugh at all throughout them, I am seriously questioning your taste in comedy and just your intellect in general.
How's that supposed to make me feel?
He almost never goes for that easy punchline joke. He will always 9.9 out of 10 times always go for that more subtly clever joke that could easily go over tons of people's heads. But no, even though I found this film to be cleverly hilarious, one drawback from that might be that, this film is, technically considered to be aimed towards kids because, it's a PG-rated stop-motion animation. And I just feel that maybe, due to its type of humor, kids from ages like 8 to 11, may find this film slightly boring at times. But I could see everybody from ages 12 and up just having a blast with this movie and really enjoying the hell out of it. And there's plenty of themes in this film that both kids and adults can take away from in this film. There's a lesson, that's aimed towards adults about how one should go about parenting and how one should set an example and how one should go about assessing a certain situation as their children are growing up. And, there's also a lesson, towards children, especially the adolescent stage. And all of these themes kind of revolve around a central theme about, accepting each other's differences and appreciating them rather than demonizing them. And of course, that's not the most original theme. It's kind of cliche. We've seen that in a lot of films, especially talking animal movies. But, I still feel like this film really went about it in a creative way that I still found it to be, honestly, still pretty touching to me and pretty impactful. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Fantastic Mr. Fox a 9.4 out of 10. I obviously really enjoyed this film, and I think most of y'all will also really enjoy it too, so please see it if you haven't already. I highly recommend it. But the big question here is, what is your favorite Wes Anderson film? This is the question that I want everybody who's viewing this to please try and answer in the comments section, because I found that whenever I ask this, it really changes from person to person. I haven't really seen a consistent Wes Anderson film that all of his fans can agree on is their favorite. There's no rising favorite that everybody has above the rest. So my personal favorite of Wes Anderson is The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I absolutely love that movie. I've seen that movie more times than I can count on my own two hands, and each time that I watch it, it just never loses its emotional impact on me. And I find it hilarious every single time I watch it, so I really adore that film. I just want to thank you guys so much for clicking on this video and hearing what I had to say about Fantastic Mr. Fox. I hope you guys are ready and prepared to watch his new stop-motion animation Isle of Dogs this weekend. If you really enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the Misfit Pawn channel to be updated on more film-related content.